And in fact, there has been recently a virus that actually infects your system and then tells you how to fix it and tries to get money from a debit card or credit card. And that's another way that people need to be aware that sometimes the infection itself and then will create the problem itself, then looking for a way to scam you online to get money. And we've seen that, I think, in Massachusetts, and I assume around the country.
Mm-hmm. That's right. We have the flip side of that, though, is that just because you're not seeing pop-ups doesn't mean that your computer isn't infected. Right. There are now different types of malware that actually go onto your computer and make your computer run better, so that you don't suspect that there's anything wrong with it, and it can then do a variety of things like transmit your personal information out to other computers and otherwise harm your computer, and you don't know about it.
And again, common sense prevails, but on some of these issues, you may need technical help, or you may need someone to help you with it, just as you would with an automobile. And I think we want to encourage people to keep up the maintenance of their computers so they don't have these problems that then can be expensive to fix. Let's talk a little bit about what most people's concern is, which is how to be online and either do shopping or other business transactions and stay safe. And let me start with you, Tom. Is it safe to shop online with a credit card?
Yes, it is safe to shop online with a credit card.
And why is that?
It's safe to shop online with a credit card because essentially shopping online with a credit card is no different than shopping at a store or shopping at a restaurant. You're always going to run a risk that someone along the line is going to take your information and do something bad with it. But just because there's that risk doesn't mean that the risk isn't a reasonable one to take. But consumers do need to take some common sense steps to prevent the harm from happening to them. And just as you're shopping at a restaurant or not online, the same rules apply when you're shopping online. You need to take a look at your bank statement, your credit card statement, make sure that all the charges that are on that are charges that you recognize. And obviously, if there's a charge that you don't recognize, that should send up all sorts of red flags for you.
And before you get to that even, you certainly want to take those precautions. You want to make sure that the company or the business that you're dealing with is one that you recognize and that you're familiar with. John, can you talk a little bit about the scope of this problem from a national point of view in terms of shopping online? How safe is it? What should people be aware of?
It's, to reiterate what Tom said, that it is safe to shop online. It is safe to, excuse me, to use credit cards online purchasing. However, we have seen many investigations where there's organized groups around the world that are very skilled at using the internet and related technologies, and they are always trying to either con information and con users into giving up things or giving up ways to get into computer systems that companies or institutional run. It's a daily, it's an annual battle by law enforcement to try to figure out trends. What we try to tell users and relatives that in their normal course of using a computer is always try to take that extra step in when you get online and you want to use your credit card, check your financial statements, but just be aware that there's a lot of people out there that we don't have the investigative authority to chase around the world. You have to be careful. There's a lot of articles in newspapers about scams from West Africa and then Eastern Europe. And if you see electronic mail where English is not really used correctly, where there's different types of email addresses that look like from around the world, then you should be careful.
Well, and we can see that whenever there's an ability for people to scam, there's also organized business that gets into it. So I know we've already covered a lot of ground. When we come back shortly, Dave, we're going to want to talk about how you can tell if a transaction is really secure and if you can be certain when you're using a particular site that it is secure. So we'll be back shortly.
You ever think about buying a bigger place?
Just waiting for a visit from the credit fairy.
There is no credit fairy.
How else will I get a better credit score?
Look, you keep your credit card balances low and only open a new card if you really need it.
No fairy?
There's no magic to improving your credit, but there's help, and it's free. Go to creditfairy.org.
So, April.
Yeah?
You know your charger's still using energy when it's plugged into the wall, right?
Yeah, but that's not my charger. I don't even have a cell phone.
Millions of kids are using their energy wisely. What's your excuse?
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
I present to you Algebra 2, Foreign Languages, and finally, Biology. Who among you will step up to their challenge?
Me.
Me too. Sign me up.
Take on the tough classes now. You need them to prepare for college.
We're back. I'm Massachusetts Attorney General Martha Coakley, and you're watching AGTV On the Record with Martha Coakley. Today we're talking about cybersecurity and the steps people can take to protect themselves when using the internet. My guests are Tom Ralph and Dave Papagiris from our office's Cybercrime Division, and John McKinnon, Supervisory Special Agent with Federal Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. Before the break, we were discussing the various types of fraudulent activity commonly seen on the internet and steps that you can take to protect yourselves. Just before the break, Dave, I asked you to think about what it is people need to know about secure transactions. In other words, what do they look for on their website to see if the site they're on will be secure?
There are certain things on websites that an individual can check that's very easy for them to check, and we've created a screenshot to show our viewers of the 3 things that they can check to see that the transaction that they're doing is secure and that it's a real site. And on their screen right now, they're showing a website. And up in the left-hand corner, the first thing that you'll notice is it says HTTPS, the S meaning for secure. So that's the first sign you're looking for. The second sign that you want to look for is what's called the little golden lock. And that can be up in the right-hand toolbar or it can be down in the lower right-hand toolbar. But you want to be able to see the gold lock on that. And if you click on the gold lock, a little certificate's going to come up. It should say the same website that you're actually at. And if you click on the view certificate, a certificate's going to come up that says that this site is a secure site, and that certificate will be issued to that website. So if you're on a site and you're shopping and you click on that certificate and it says it's a different website than you're actually on, it's not a secure site to be using.
Okay, so that's a good tool for people to have, kind of like checking the watermark on your dollar
That's right.
bill.
Just three simple things that you can check and it will show you it's a secure site. And we talked earlier about phishing sites where they're trying to get your personal information. And one of the things that strikes out when you get a phishing webmail or email to look at or a website that purports to be a real site is you look up in the browser bar where it will say like yourbank.com. Mm-hmm. On a phishing site it will say yourbank.com, but it's always going to have some numbers up there or some other different characters. And that's usually a telltale sign that it's not the real bank. And down on the bottom after you put your information in, there's going to be a submit button. If you just roll your mouse icon over that, and no press it, but just roll over that, down on the bottom tray is going to come up the real link of where that's going to go to. And it's probably not going to be your bank. It's going to be your bank with those numbers again. So just by checking a couple of different things on the websites, people can tell, that it's a good, safe site to use. And if it's a phishing site, they can see that it's, yourbank.com is yourbank.com. But when you see it, yourbank.com with numbers and different characters up there, that should be a telltale sign right off the bat.
Well, and let's separate that out, because I think we found that just as shopping online on a secure site is okay, you can do your banking online, right? But that's a site that you found yourself. And do we all agree that it's totally appropriate and okay to do your banking online?